be discussing this morning on Good Morning Anambra, the 25th day of March 2025. And in the studio here, we have our guests well seated, and we want to be talking about Natasha's recall, the process and politics of recalling an elected representative. And our guest this morning is Nonso Orakwe, Executive Director, Catch Them Young Community Initiative, talking about Katikoi. Good morning, Nonso.
That name sounds great. And that's what we are.
Well, I know your name sounds great.
Good morning, my people.
It's been a while. I can likely say Happy New Year because I don't think
we've not seen this year.
We've not seen this year.
Oh,
I've not felt your good
my vibes.
I've not felt your good vibes this year.
Meanwhile, you are looking fat. What's happening?
Well, I'm eating directly from the pot this time.
Oh, great.
I'm no longer being fed.
Carry me along, bro. So thank you for having me.
Glad to have you here.
Yeah.
So, well, let us begin with talking about the imbroglio that has been happening in the Senate for close to a month right now, talking about Natasha's suspension, sexual harassment, allegation, and suspension. You know, the whole thing is just one big issue that's snowballing out of proportion. And then we're beginning to believe that in no time, very soon, we probably might be seeing an end to this, talking about the recall of Natasha, talking about the senator that was suspended. Natasha recently came up to say that on no account will she apologize to the Senate. Do you think it makes any soft landing based on the way this issue has snowballed and spun out of contention in recent time?
Okay, so you see, apology, it's one big thing that an average Nigerian or Africa will ever want to do. It's a very difficult task. But haven't said that it's not difficult. But I think she might be seeing apology to that from the perspective of what's transpired. Okay, and the other way around. She might be also wanted to be heard, because we've not actually had these two parties, talk about it in a ground that they will have fair hearing, either from the SP or from the Natasha. So I think she might be coming from that angle to say she cannot apologize, but I think apology can be given by anything. That does not mean you are won or you are defeated.
All right. If she's apologizing, what should she be apologizing? If she decides to, I would want to apologize. What should she be apologizing for?
Okay. In the sense that there are certain discussions that may need Senate in-house discussion, okay. There are procedures of, complaining or laying your grievances. Maybe she didn't take that procedure to get to where she wants to arrive. That's the angle I will feel she needs to maybe apologize by not taking a good kind of the normal procedure to lay her grievances. So if that is part of her apology, I would say fine. Then that will also give her a level playground to also hit whatever she wants to say on ground. Sometimes, it's very difficult to say I'm sorry, okay? And there are smart people that can tell you I'm sorry, and with that I'm sorry, they will be able to pour out their heart so that people will be able to hear. Okay, you said you took senators unaware. You actually violated the norms that guide the rate chambers. So if that, sorry about that, but that will not stop me from saying my view.
Should there not be apologies to her, considering how everything...
No, the both. I think Akpabio has actually publicly said, I am sorry. That kind of level of, I think it's flying everywhere. But Natasha doesn't actually want that matter to end like that. Even when the SP has publicly pronounced I'm sorry, that kind of thing, and the statement is on the net. So I feel there are procedures that one can take to also achieve his or her desire, if need be.
Well, talking about positions to take, but then we are talking about process and politics of recalling Natasha back into the Senate. We saw online, will I say, some, Nigerians are so funny the way we do things, about the petition to get her reinstated, as in called back into the Senate, 250,000, signatories, so that she can get and then taken to INEC and the rest of it all. And then we saw where there were people somewhere falsifying signatures, multiple signing. Now, for you that is into catching them young and then you see a thing like this, you begin to wonder, politics in Nigeria, are we actually on the right path? Or do we go the way of saying, just like Obasanjo said, that democracy is not actually for Nigerians and it's not working for us? What do we need to do in order to change the narrative?
Well, I think to me, I'm a Democrat and a democracy enthusiast. And to achieve
a democracy enthusiast, even when you're seeing the failings and the crack.
Yes, it doesn't stop me from being one.
Okay.
So I think I have worked in that space for a couple of years now, and trust me, I've been enjoying it. It's just that it's actually a difficult one for other people around us to assimilate and digest what exactly democracy stands in our society. So for that thing that transpired, if in the Senate can say you are trying to get the adoption of suspension of a sitting senator, and people were saying nay. It's very clear that people were saying nay. You didn't go by voting. It is by, and people were saying nay. You say the ayes have it. You did it the first time. The response wasn't favorable to you because you are biased. That is undemocratic. The second one, you did it. I think the third one was where you forcefully enact the decision that is not unanimously agreed. So that is where we begin to default the whole process of this, Natasha saga. Now, if that could happen at the red chambers, what do you think will happen at the constituency? Anything goes in this country. Anything can come and go free. We don't have norms. In fact, we have lost our moral life.
So is that to say that democracy is no longer working in this?
No, it's not that the democracy is to some extent, whether we like it or not, we still have democracy. Because these guys are messing it up does not mean some other people are not, using.
Nigerians are watching.
Of course.
We are learning the wrong aspect of democracy.
No, we are learning. Remember.
Because this is changing the narrative from what we were taught in school. That democracy is government of the people, for the people, and by the people.
Remember, before now, we are getting to somewhere in democracy, both in our electoral system and otherwise. Not until now we begin to see it this way. So many has happened in this country. So many things are happening in this country. So what I'm trying to say is this: that lineup you saw signing for recalling a sitting senator, it could be what's it called? It could be influenced. It could be influenced by the political graduate, is it graduates or? Gladiators. Now, that is one. Two, another video coming up to show Natasha's constituency support, that they are solidly behind her, meaning that something is wrong somewhere. And my interpretation is that if the red chamber, the SP, could have played that level of role in taking decision among 109 senators. Then what do you think that will happen to the masses? It is money can do a whole lot of things to get those documents.
A lot of things to corrupt mind, and that is not what we're expecting.
Good.
From that will entrench
what you would now look at is the people that were that participated. Who are those people that participated?
Your senators.
No,
you mean in the voice vote?
Yes. No, not yes. Okay. In the signing.
Okay, the signing. And these were the people from our constituents. These are people that were saying that they can't afford to have their representative away from the Senate when topical issues of development is taking place. Even the ones that knew about it, who even informed them? Was there a constituency meeting that informed these people that your senator is messing up?
All right, situations of...
So to me, I feel that gathering is actually a biased one and influenced.
All right, recalling, sometimes, or rather most times has to do with, constituents recalling, the member of the house from the red chamber and all that. So that has been probably the aftermath of, that saga between Natasha and the Crossfield family, and that is what, that is what has been trending. Now, Section 69 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria actually does, give room for that, members who may not be satisfied with the members who may not be satisfied with the probably how well their senators have been doing, are asking the INEC to please recall this person. This person may not have been doing well. This person may not have been presenting us so well. This person may not have been there in our own interest. And that is what has actually been that is what has actually been going on. So how can we say this is linked with the whole situation? And is it favorable to Natasha herself, and should it be favorable to the constituents, that is the people she actually does represent?
No, it's not favorable to both. Okay, it's not favorable to both, but I want to actually ask questions. Was there conversation at the constituents of Natasha? Senator Natasha, was there any conversation around this woman is not doing well, this one is not doing well over time? Okay, that suddenly prompted her recalling. That's the question I always ask myself. Was there in any time last year, I think they came in, what election brought them in? 2023. Okay, brought them in. The 2023.
She even had to go to court to actually certify that she actually did win that election.
Do you get it? So the same people that voted her within a year, 2 years, was there last year, some, there are rumors, maybe, was there any rumor that Natasha has been failing in her responsibility as a legislator, that could warrant this sudden signing and making noise and all of that? I saw also a video of a woman, a lady, who is probably, I cannot quote her, but probably from side talks, probably not from the Kogi Central.
Yeah, there have been lots of reports about some questionable activities. For example, people who are not from the constituents, just making up of signatures and all that. So how does this, it brings the question to how probably the political structure for both INEC and the leadership structure as a whole. How is this possible?
So
how is this possible that we are seeing things like this? Considering the fact that before a recalling can happen, there has to be about 50% people from the constituents. And of course, if these 50% can be verified, when you go to, you have to ask.
You have to go to the grassroots.
Yes, you have to, apart from grassroots, you have to ask the INEC to probably provide these
details.
Details. Say, oh, these persons are actually
from the constituents.
Yeah. So is it that probably the INEC didn't do due diligence to this to actually determine to say, oh, we have about 50 persons from the constituency, 50% or rather a certain number from the constituents, asking for the recall of Senator Natasha?
Well, I will say it's like you said, INEC it's all boils down to INEC political structure, the way it's structured. And let me tell you, if by the time this 50% were verified, verified is that they have their word, they have their names, they have their PVC with. What's the name of that number?
Your VIN number.
VIN number. Verified that these people are actually from this constituency. They have to do this in order to take a stand. So if these things are not done, that means the INEC herself is also biased. Like you said something about the constitution, section 69 and also 101. 110. Let me tell you something. If this constitution we have as a guide in the country could be mad, the process, okay, let me say the process so far is going on well. There is a petition submitted to INEC. INEC has received. Okay? Possibly, I also want to believe that during that signing, INEC were there to observe the signing, right?
Yeah, of course. Of course, it has to get to their table first before certain actions.
Was there voters registration? What's it called? Booklet, okay, displayed to know that these people who are signing these documents hail from this constituency. If that is not verified, that means they will go back to the drawing board.
Going back to the drawing board, you mean that telling us that that this could smear the good reputation or the strong stance of Senator Natasha for her wanting to get recalled back through fraudulent means?
No, I'm just talking about the normal process, okay? Normal process. You said 50% has signed.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, can those 50% who signed, that does not justify that Natasha should be removed. Okay? But let's start from the procedures you have established already. Let's start from it and know who signed that. Because if we had counter constituents who are shouting, Natasha we know, you're a good woman, you have been represented very well, and others were writing and signing and all that, there should be a serious verification towards that. So you can't just die that matter that way, because I foresee this thing coming when all these things were happening. When the woman left for UN something. There's a place she went to.
Interlegislative
meeting. When that happened, I knew that matter will not end just like that. And being that this thing is between, the matter is between the superior and also, not even the superior, the leadership.
Yeah, because all of them are all
equal. Just the leadership, yes, the leadership and the member. Also, the leadership, the hierarchy of the rich chambers, and also the Natasha. So I knew that maybe a power tussle may want to play out. And trust me, this matter, I wouldn't want INEC to end it the way the findings they are making. They need to do a concrete finding. Let it not just be a finding that money exchanges hands and people come out to do anything. Let me also establish this. If something that happened in a river state could also happen, anything is possible to happen under democracy we are operating in Nigeria.
Still boils down to the fact that it's not working in this part of the world.
It's not working properly. But that does not mean that people are not struggling. We have never had democracy worked perfectly.
From 1999, this uninterrupted democracy we've had in Nigeria.
We have never had it work perfectly. And we also believe, and that is why international communities were coming to our aid to, strengthen our democracy, which my organization and most organizations in Nigeria are beneficiaries to it. So every day we talk about democracy, every day we act democracy, every day we preach democracy.
Democracy can only be practiced by people that follow the rule book, which is the Constitution, and then there are other rule books to follow. When you don't adhere to the rule book, and then you're doing things just to favor you, then that means we are not ready to practice what it is that we want to practice. We've had leaders come up to say that what we are practicing here, it's not democracy. People have come to make a caricature of this assembly, this 9th assembly, 10th assembly, as you may call it. They are saying that this is rubber stamp. Whatever the president wants, he gets. And that is not democratic. Taking for instance, what happened in River State, we didn't even get 2/3 votes, majority votes, and yet the president still went ahead to declare state of emergency and impose a sole administrator, which is not even represented in our constitution. So the issue of Natasha's recall, the process, the politics, this tells a whole lot that the people that we have that are manning our democratic structure care less about democracy in the true nature of it all. All they care about is festering their own ideas, decision on Nigerians and telling us that this is democracy. The moment the president went on that route of declaring state of emergency, lawyers from every nook and cranny of this country came out to say this is not acceptable. But nothing has been done in order to even defend the democracy that we are pillaging right now. So we can't say we are building and at the same time we are destroying, because it takes more effort to build and it takes little or no effort to destroy. So the Senate has lost credibility in the eyes of Nigerians.
I agree
in every aspect.
All right.
The judiciary have lost it. They're no longer the hope of the common man. How do we, with the few minutes that we have left, how do we begin to get Nigerians to believe that democracy can actually work in this part? Nonso?
Okay, so first of all, we need to go back to the drawing board where we had what democracy is. And haven't had it this way from 1999. I believe in 1999, before the establishment of democracy in this country, there is full kind of detail about what democracy is. And that is, democracy is the government of the people, not the government of the president, not the government of the Senate, not the government of the governor, not the government of any House of Representative or chairman local government or whoever. Is not a government of an individual. See, government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So what it means is that people has the power to do and also an undo. So what it means is that when we need to go back to understand this definition. And when we understand it, we now fall back to the drawing board, round table, to actually, starting from the scratch, like we do, we say catch them young community initiative. We are catching them young, and trust me, we've been discussing around this democracy. Democracy is our watchword to young people, both in secondary school, in the church, and whatnot. We've been talking about it, and our watchword is democracy, and not only being watchword, not only being democracy, but acting democracy. So what I'm trying to say is this: it is time for Nigerians to take this country by themselves, to begin to ask questions. And some of these things, when it happens, people doesn't care. People doesn't ask questions. From what is happening now, I think it's time for Nigerians to rise and ask questions, and also place on the table of our legislators, place on the table of our executive, that we are stronger than we put you guys there, and we have the power to recall you people right from the SP down to the least person in the rate chambers, and even the president. So that if the president noticed the people have actually, started reacting, they wouldn't be messing us up this way. So if people, and I used to say it is because people are quiet. People who has the power are keeping quiet. That is why all these things are happening.
Considering there've been a lot of talks about young people, going into the streets, young people reacting and all that. Considering the fact that those who are probably politically influential have not been able to do something about the situation. The judiciary has failed, security agencies have failed, of course the legislatures are probably still struggling to get some of these things input. When these people who are influential have been able to have struggled to do these things, then why should the burden be pushed to young people who, of course, the Constitution gives them power to say, the people have the rights, the people have the power, the people have the influence to probably elect or re-elect, or, of course, recently, what we're talking about, recall a senator from the House, if these influential people have not been able to do it. So why should the burden, the responsibility be pushed to probably powerless, citizens of the country?
The citizens are not powerless.
That's what we are being told all the time. But most of the times, when we see a few times, let's not forget what happened at Lekki 2020.
That's the NSAS?
Yes, the NSAS. Nigerians reacted. And many times, few times now, even after the elections, there were talks about protest and all that. Some not happy with, how the results turned out. There were protests. But nothing, or really nothing, or little. So why should
the reason for that is that sometimes in Nigeria we lack what we call sustainability plans. When you start something, be able to articulate it very well. In the CSO world, we have what we call sustainability. If you are applying for any grant, okay, for a project you want to embark on, you must give sustainability plan and also show how that project will be monitored and evaluated. Okay? Now, NSAS was actually something that opens everybody's eyes. Okay? And whether we like it or not, that NSAS yielded some level of desired results in Nigeria. Yes, because our leaders never knew it would turn out that way. Okay? Now, what happened? We could not, the young people could not sustain that NSAS. So what happens in Nigeria is, and anything you cannot sustain, our leaders will take advantage of it. Oh, they have done it and they are weak. Let us continue from where we stop. So had it been like 2027 election is coming now, and I have been in the forefront of advising young people and every Nigerians to repeat what they did in 2023 general elections. What did they do? Coming out en masse to register and to cast their vote, and also allow their vote to secure their votes as well. When these things are repeated over time, people will know that this the masses, the people that power belongs to, have now woken up. So, but when you say the power lies to the people, and that power, people are not harnessing it. They are not using it properly. They don't want to guide it properly. They will take the leaders will take advantage of it. So that is just that.
All right. Then finally,
until people start taking responsibility, until people start acting, things will not go well in this country. Yeah, the power still belongs to the people.
Thank you so much. Now, based on the Natasha recall incidents and the so-called allegation and the rest of it, what lessons are there for Nigerians to learn from what Natasha has been able to do? The distraction sex allegation has been able to put Nigerians and then the Senate And then where do we see ourselves in subsequent issues concerning this in the Senate?
I think why this thing is going on, Nigerians are also learning. Okay, I think one of the key lessons to learn in this thing is now, sorry to say this, why are they going back to the people? Why are they going back to the people if the people doesn't have the powers? Why are they going back to the people? So one of the key lessons we should learn in this thing is that the power belongs to the people. And whether we like it or not, after being in the rich chambers or being the president and Senate will come down to the people. So people should use this medium. In fact, they should use this medium to prioritize their powers. That whoever that is coming to you, who is that person, talk to the person. Hold them accountable of whatever that is happening in your constituency. So the power belongs to the people. People should know that. Then secondly, I think there should be, I will suggest also that furthering this case, they need to verify who has signed the recall register from that constituency. Kogi North, Kogi Central, right?
Kogi Central, of course.
So INEC should verify that.
All right, what precedents will this set? What precedents will this set on the long run, looking at how the whole situation started, the whole sexual harassment? Because some will say, they have to be careful. They should, if you probably voice your opinion against something that is seemingly not right, you're likely to be probably pushed under the bus. You're likely to go in for it and all that. And looking at how the whole thing is turning. Subsequently, after a few weeks, we are hearing talks about recall and all that. So what precedents is this likely to set for women, especially women who are probably aspiring to be in the red chamber? What
it will bring about demoralization. People, that gender will not want to be, boldly contest to get into any elective positions. That is what it will, it will spice up, it will affect women participation in politics, and which we have been also
clamored for.
Yes. Okay. So because once the whole scenario will tell you, what are you going there to do? You don't have the power to voice out, even when you are harassed. You don't have any place to channel your issues and all of that, because men is more in number there or something. So it will affect women participation, and it will also. I don't think the leadership will continue that way. Another leadership may come in and choose to empower women with also that. And that I wouldn't want to tell women to be discouraged with that. Women should also press further, because once they are discouraged, they have been overpowered by the
and demoralized too.
You do get it. So they should not be demoralized. Let them take take lessons learned from that and be able to re-strategize, and whenever they want to get to not only in red chambers, any elective position they want to vie, they should be very careful and also watch things happen before they act. So they should take this as a kind of a class, a lesson class for them to equip themselves and then push further to get into politics in Nigeria.
Well, thank you so much. Talking about Natasha's recall, the process and politics of recalling an elected representative. And we had in the studio, and also Orakwe, who is the executive director, Catch Them Young Community Initiative, Katikoi. Well, am I young? Am I too young to be?
You are fine. You are fine. You are still there.
I'm still young. Young at heart.
You are still there.
I want to thank you so much for availing yourself the opportunity to be here this morning.
Thank you.
On Good Morning Anambra, and that's the size of the package we have for you on this discussion segment. My name is still Ajuluchuku Okabwe.
And my name is Obinna Ikechukwu. Next is the Sports Splash. I'll be standing in for the man Sacramento this morning. Lots of things to talk about in the world of sports. Of course, today, the Super Eagles will be, of course, slugging it out with Zimbabwe at the Nest of Champions in Akwa Ibom, and lots of other reports or stories for you this morning. Stay tuned.